In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to add depth effect or drop shadow in Crello. Adding a shadow effect to your text can really make it pop, giving it that extra dimension that grabs the viewer's attention. Think of it as a way to make your text stand out, creating a subtle yet impactful visual appeal. First things first, you'll want to begin by selecting the text you intend to add a shadow to. This involves simply clicking on the text box you wish to modify. Once you've identified and selected your text, it's time to move on to applying the shadow effect. Look up to the top toolbar of your workspace, and there you'll spot an option labeled Effects. Give that a click, and a list of various effects will unfold before you. From this list, you'll want to select Shadow. It's as straightforward as that to begin applying a basic shadow to your text. Next comes the fun part, customization. This is where you get to tweak and perfect the shadow effect to suit your specific design needs. There are several parameters you can adjust. Let's start with the size. Here, you have a slider that allows you to increase or decrease the size of your shadow. Adjust this to your liking, depending on whether you want a striking bold shadow or a more understated, subtle highlight. Then, you can play around with the blur. This slider controls the sharpness of your shadow's edges. A higher blur will create softer, diffused edges, adding a gentler look, whereas a lower blur gives you crisper, more defined shadow lines. Next, consider the distance of the shadow. This parameter determines how close or far the shadow is positioned in relation to your text. Not only does this help in accentuating the effect, but it also contributes to the overall depth perception of your design. Following that, we have the angle option. With this slider, you can change the direction from which your shadow appears. This can help create a convincing light source effect within your design, adding to the realism of the drop shadow. And lastly, let's not forget about opacity. The opacity slider lets you set how translucent or opaque your shadow appears. Making the shadow more transparent can give a softer, more natural look, while a more opaque shadow will stand out more prominently against your background. Once you're satisfied with the overall look, you can finalize your design. At this point, you can either continue editing other elements within your Crello project or go ahead and export your finished design. This final step is entirely up to your project needs, and there you have it. By following these steps, you can effectively add a depth effect or drop shadow in Crello, enhancing your text's visibility and aesthetic appeal. Thanks for watching, and happy designing.